Okay, so I have a little bit of code to show and kind of show how it works a little bit. I've been playing around with the laser a little bit more. Had a buddy over to try and burn some things and didn't go so well for 2 nights over, so figured the best way to solve the situation was just to write our own program to do it. Um, so a little bit of Python, and I kind of have a program to deal with the laser burning in a way that works for me. So we'll pop over to Google Chrome here, and high contrast imagery seems to work pretty good. I haven't tried this one. I have tried this image, so we'll do a test with this image, and maybe we'll test the swing one as well because I'm curious about the swings and do it live. Why not? Um, so I've tested this one here, this image here. This image has a lot of white in it. One of the things I didn't like about the other burning scripts that I've found, scripts, extensions, that kind of thing, was that it tended to just travel over the white areas like any other area. Really, that those areas should be skipped completely. They shouldn't even really be gone over unless it's a quick travel to get to another line. So that's kind of what I programmed in here. Anything over a certain white value does actually get skipped, and not just from the beginning, it'll do it in the middle as well. Um, it will also preview where is going to be skipped. Um, and then another one of the issues I had was it would burn a line and get to the end of the line and then go all the way back to the left side of the image and start burning another line from there, where really it should just go up a pixel and start traveling in reverse back the other way here, and kind of zigzag back and forth through the pattern. um, there's other ways to do this, and some are better than others, but at least for what I was doing, that kind of wasted a lot of time, always going back to the left side and having to draw a new line. So if we pop into the terminal here, it is a terminal application for now. Um, these are the options. So it takes a file name, takes a width in millimeters, so that's the output width. It's pretty close. If you put in 200, it's going to probably be 202 or so, so you kind of want to undershoot a little bit. That needs to be fixed, and if somebody wants to pop in there and fix me, it's on GitHub to do so. So there's help, the version information. I've slightly worked in some palette stuff from Pill. I don't think this quite works exactly how I intended yet, but it is kind of working. So if you add a -pa and use -s to tell it how many shades you want, it will create an image with uh, less color. Uh, Color is kind of the wrong word for that. Less shades of gray, I'd say. Um, there is a white value. The white value tells it where to skip. Basically, it's by default set to 255 of white, but you can take that down, and I'll show that how that's used here quite shortly. The density is kind of how many lines or pixels per millimeter. That kind of defaults to 3 for a nice image. And we have skip rate and burn rate. So skip rate is how fast it will skip uh, travel. This is the feed rate travel, and the burn rate is how fast you're actually burning. Number of PWM steps, this is usually going to default to 255, but you may want to change that. High power and low power. I know the Shapeoko seems, the stock firmware seems to have 12,000 as a high level. Other firmwares are not going to have those at high PWM level. They might be 255 on your firmware. So that gives you the option to change it. It's defaulting to the Shapeoko 12,000. Low power as well, you can change laser on command. So in the Shapeoko3, that's M3 and M5 for the PWM off and on. And then you can also set the modifier as well. So maybe your laser modifier isn't spindle speed, and by default, Shapeoko, that's what's getting used. So those can be changed. The modifier might need a little bit of work. For other firmwares, you may want that modifier to be on the same line as your movement. That's something that other people may have to deal with because of firmware. I'm sticking to the stock firmware until I might get another Shapeoko board, and then I would do two different boards, one for each firmware. I really don't want to screw around with flashing Arduinos all the time. So then you have an output. So if I wanted to output with a different file name, that's totally possible. You have a preview mode. So preview, red images or red parts in the image will be skipped over, and it will also create you a test pattern gradient for doing testing of power settings and that kind of thing. And you can also turn on debugging. So if you go up here, and this is calling the program itself, so CLI, then I have the image, this image here. I've already pre-downloaded that, and it is that. I'm going to want it 200 millimeters wide for now, and we'll turn on preview mode and hit enter. So it should pop up a preview. We get a preview here. Let's just pull this terminal out of full screen here, and we get a preview, and there's a bunch of red, but maybe not. We'd like it to skip a little bit more. Maybe we don't want the white level to be so high, so we can WV for white level, and let's say to 230. Anything higher than 230 we kind of want to skip over, and this will probably create a little bit better one. Yep, there we go. So anything red here we will not burn. We'll try to skip over as fast as possible, but there's still some areas up in the top that are maybe a little more gray than white, so we don't want to burn those. Let's change that to 200 as well. So anything whiter than 200 will not get burnt. And there we go. That's looking a little better. Still some areas up in the top, but I can live with those. So at this point, it's already created a work file .gcode. If I wanted to maybe call this output umbrella. Well, I'll just do it umbre. So now it'll make an umbre.gcode file. And you can actually see it's created them down here, and gcode.jpg is a preview. If I wanted to preview that, I have a version of CamOdix. It's loaded the work file here. So I have a version of CamOdix. I think I've modified this a little bit, but if you see here, it has skipped over those areas. See where it's traveling faster, the red lines. So it's got back to here and then decided that it wanted to jump all the way over to here, which is great. That's what we want. So that kind of gives me a preview that everything is going to burn all right. It doesn't give you a preview of the depth or levels, but that's more for a gradient test, which I'll show here as well. Yeah. So let's do a gradient test, and then we'll do the swing set. So if I wanted to burn this now, I could just burn my work file or umbre.gcode, and it would use this area down here as my 0, and away it would go. So to make one of the test patterns, we'll just fudge the file name as test. We'll say we want that 200 pixels wide as well. We want to make it the test pattern, and we'll preview that. There we go. We have our preview little strip here. So a 200 millimeter gradient. And this would give you black to white and you'd be able to see your power levels and that kind of thing. Be able to tweak the settings a little bit. So that gives you an option there. Let's do the swing. Let's see what happens when we pump the swing into here. Swing, we want it to be, let's say, 300 pixels wide. Let's go for a bigger one, and we'll preview that. In default settings, we'll see what happens. Okay, so it seems to be burning an awful lot. There's a little bit of white and dots in there. Let's turn the white level up. Oops. White value. Let's go to 200. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so there we go. Kind of silhouettes it. If we go even higher, say maybe we just want the swing set, we just want that kind of silhouette. Boom, there we go. Now if we close these other two previews and pop back into Camotix here, we'll refresh that. So it's going to burn over those areas, and you can kind of see the face and the swing a little bit in there. There should be a little bit of skip travel in here, but I'm not seeing it. But anyways, I may have a bug to fix in there. We'll see. That kind of gives you an idea of the program. It does, if I show the preview here, it does travel back and forth, not so it'll travel over, and you can see it kind of going back and forth as it does it. There should be some skipped areas in here. I'll have to take a look at that. But there you go. So skipping as much as I can, trying to save as much time as possible, and keep the laser off and maybe give it a cool down at certain points. So there we go. Hopefully that explains the Xburn CLI a little better. Maybe get a GUI in the future, and should kind of work cross-platform for you. Not sure about Windows, but it's using Python and Pill, so it won't be too hard to set up and use. If you got questions or anything, let me know. And yeah, try it out. Fork it. Make it better. Get her done. It's not too much. Yeah, 270-ish lines. So yeah, give it a shot.